Well, hello and welcome to Arctic up here in Umeå. And I'm sitting here with Frida, who is our art director up here in the north.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here with Petter, who is our game director.
Yeah, it's lucky that we sit together, otherwise I don't know what would happen. Anyway, we are here to talk about Galactic Paragons, a DLC we have worked on for almost a year now. And about the characters you may encounter in this DLC. This DLC is not really a story pack as such. It's a small expansion pack where we have added a council, and we have reworked the leader system and added a tons of traits and like council positions and cool stuff. But it felt like when we were redoing all the leader mechanics, we should add some characters. So that was the concept of the Paragons that we have added to the story. And when we decided to add characters that are not just like part of a species, that are like the leaders of different empires, but like individuals that have their distinct things, we also had to rethink how we would do them art-wise.
Yeah, so basically, usually when you see a character in the game, it's a very static pose, and it's more like an abstraction of a species, because then they were used to display that species in every context as a worker and as a leader, etc. But now we have the opportunities to create individuals instead. And most of the leaders are based on already existing species, but we try to reinvent them in different ways.
And we have two variants of the Paragons. We have the Renowned and we have the Legendary. And if we start with the Renowned, these are characters that seek your empire out. When you have expanded and you have met other empires and you have gathered some power and influence on the galactic stage, there will be individuals out in the galaxy that feel like, this is an empire that suits me. So these characters all have an ethic, and they will only seek you out empires that are the same ethic as theirs. So if you have a materialist will come try to join a materialist empire, or a spiritualist will try to join a spiritualist empire. So they are also sort of representations of the ethic, and we add 16 of these to the game, so 2 for each ethic. Sorry, Gestalt players, there is no Paragon for the Gestalt ethic. But there is other good stuff for Gestalt in the expansion, and we can take some examples. For example, we have a authoritarian spy master called Kaisha, who is this right-hand man to the ruler, this cloaked individual that take care of problems and protect the throne, and we really went for the sort of Sith dark cloaked trope for this character.
But we wanted to sort of expand and experiment with that trope a bit, because we still wanted her to be relatable and not just generic, or that's something just a copy of something you've seen. And then by chance someone said that it looked like our UX designer, and then we went with it and gave her dreads as our UX designer have, etc. So if we added some kind of character to her that I don't think is a mirroring of Kaisa's personality.
Well, she's called Kaisa and the character is called Kaisha, but and Kaisa also, the renowned Paragon Kaisha has a negative trait called tyrannical, and it's pretty close to our UX designer, I would say. Yeah, but in a nice way. In a nice way. Yeah. If you are playing in a materialist, you might be approached by Burin, who is a salvager, and the salvagers were introduced in Overlord, and we felt that they were very charming, and it would be cool to sort of see one of them that had left his home to go out in the galaxy on his adventures, and he is a scientist, a sort of warm character that wants to go out and explore, and he has really strong abilities where he can repair the ships of fleets in the same systems as him. He also can add to your research and things like that.
Yeah. But we really explored like the engineer trope, and the species are kind of furry, and he often became very close to like fantasy tropes. So we decided to go with this signal color look with yellow and black and yellow stripes to make him in the right setting, like in the sci-fi setting, and also gave him a rig with a wielding unit. And I think that sort of we sort of still have the Lord of the Ring dwarven trope in there, so sort of, and he also is a drunk. He has to.
Well, he's a substance abuser. His life has been hard. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
And I just want to say that all dwarves in fantasy media is not drunks or substance abuser. It's
No.
we just want to have that clear. And for the renowned leaders, what they make them unique is that they have, you know, their own backstory, and they come with a sort of preset number of traits, and they also start with a very powerful destiny trait that you normally get only at level 8, but they get this much earlier. And they also have a number of events that might pop up and tell us more about their story. So Borin, for example, he might build you a robot that could join your empire as another leader, or he might write his journal about his journeys and his life. Kaisha, on the other hand, she might dig up information and do a lot of nasty stuff.
Yeah. And also we can note that we will have a new event window also for these type of events.
Yeah.
Where you can see the portrait beside the event text and the event window also, so you get a nice package and you won't miss it that it's a leader-based event, hopefully.
No, and I think it looks really nice when you have the leader next to the event. And we have added some events for all kind of leaders in the game, so it will use the same window for those as well. Should we talk about the legendary paragons, perhaps?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I mean that if we have 16 of the renowned ones, that the ones that seek you out based on your ethic, we have 4 of the legendary ones, and here we really wanted to make something bigger and more extravagant and a bigger change to your gameplay when you encounter them. And all of these are sort of representations of Stellaris, I would say. I think that one represents exploration, and one is the shroud and the mystical old elements, and one is about colonization, one is about war and conflict. And they have added a lot of things to it. Some have unique ships, some have relics, some have special mechanics or like event chains. And one of them is Azarin. And perhaps you can say something about our sad plantoid.
Yeah, she started out as a sort of an optimistic character.
Yeah, she was a happy plantoid before we met her.
Yeah, and then Nadines, our very talented content designer, brought some melancholic air into her creation. He
is the one that lives furthest north in the Sweden, so he get this Swedish vemod or melancholia. So it's like, oh, it should be like really sad, and she should die. Or she perhaps should die. It's very much like sad.
Maybe he has a lack of sunlight up there.
Yeah.
But basically, her character ended up having this deterioration on her tail that she needs to act before she dies.
Yeah, she is a character that she's the last survivor of her species, and she travels the galaxy in her giant dome ship, and comes to planet, and she can terraform them and sort of bring life back to the galaxy. But each time she does so, she becomes weaker and weaker, and she has very special terraforming abilities that
it's powerful early game.
Powerful early game, especially. She can do a lot of strange things with planets, but she has this sort of melancholic air to it, which I think adds a nice weight to her character.
Yeah.
And as I said, we have 3 other legendary ones, but I will let you discover them yourself. Please check out our dev diary as well, because we have added a lot more info about the process of creating them, and some more examples of renowned characters, and
how it looks like when you recruit them as well with the UI.
Yeah, that's everything from us, I would say. All right, have a nice and check out our DLC and read our dev diary and have a beautiful day.
Yes.
Adieu.
Bye-bye.